Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. So today is one of those days where I was early and then became late because of being distracted while looking at texts. So, anyhow, here we are happily with you. And it is, well, we are in the world, it's Thursday. Where some of you are in the world, it's Wednesday afternoon. And in Thailand, we've got Aparajita Devi Dasi, and in a different place in beautiful Thailand, sun shining, Rupanuga Prabhu. And we've got Gangalila Devi Dasi, Seva Rupadidi, the team in more team in Thailand. Okay, we've got Thailand team. I'm always thinking it's Navadip, but it's the Thailand Govinda farm. So Priya Sundari and Leela Moy Prabhu. In South Africa, Seva Rupa Devi Dasi. And welcome to those who are seeing us on the recorded version, because you'll be meeting more. I'm sure more will join us as we go along. And also on Facebook. We're on Facebook, okay? I'm also on Facebook. Just give me 1 second and we then shall begin. So back BACK. Oh, why no internet? Oh, well, theory and practice or internet. Okay, so dear devotees, let us begin as we do and as we should with a little invocation. A big invocation in a short way. Bandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapada Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitantam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Saha Gana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitams Cha Om Jnana Timarandasya Yananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gora Tvije Namaha. Shri Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhuvya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. And our two Mahamantras, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. And welcome in the meantime to Keli Kadamba Devi Dasi and perhaps Abhinava Sundar Prabhu on the peripheries cooking. Oh, he's cooking, such a good husband, just see. Hare Krishna, Abhinava Sundar Prabhu. All right, dear devotees. Well, two things today. One is I have sleeping souls sleeping nearby through the walls, so I have to speak quietly. And the second thing is I am nursing a throat, trying to just look after it. It's just on the edge. We've been doing Harinam Sankirtan in the rain and things like this, which is all very good, but just have to be a little bit gentle myself. So 2 reasons why I'm trying not to speak too much. And so that gives a good opportunity for you all to share some good things about the basics of Bhakti life. So I'll let you all meditate on that for a short while. And our dear devotees, we have Madhava Prabhu, we've got Tungarasa Devi Dasi, and we have Mathura Basini, who is sending all obeisances and Hare Krishnas to everybody. They're on Facebook, and more will be seeing us in the recorded version and joining presently. So welcome to you all. And to Radha Sundari Devi Dasi, probably back in Mayapur, who joined us just now too. So one thing I can just start us off while you're considering some contribution, and I know that each of you are fully capable contributors to Krishna consciousness. And from my side, I can just say that, in the ninth offense, we get often asked about the ninth offense to the holy name, not to preach to the faithless. And we always try to do it, and hopefully we're getting a little bit more successful, not to preach to the faithless. But somehow, being with the public and being here and there, then we do see that what seems plainly clear when we're talking amongst devotees on a very basic level about the Lord and about everybody wants beauty and charm and to live forever, things that seem rather straightforward once we've been introduced to the idea. There's a little barrier between the general world's comfort zone understanding of things and then actually thinking that there is a reality where really you can have joy and happiness without all the associated misery of this world, and where really you can have that forever. So this is almost, when we see it or have experience of it, or we kind of notice it from the outside, it does look like a covering, like a blanket covering over. And just people don't want to look outside the blanket, they want to stay underneath. And whether it is fear of the upper plane or simply it's that covering of illusion because they want to be covered with the separate interest and separate this and their lives they've worked to attain whatever job they've got at the moment. And so when we can recognize these, even the simple things of, yes, the possibility of, heaven by whatever other name, but everywhere we go, everywhere we look within the different yogas, the different religions, the different attempts in this world to be happy, we can see that the common idea is that there is a heaven of some form or another, a place of joy for eternity. But to actually accept that, also, there seems to be, there is something, some little barrier, and how to cross over that and how to let the public know that there is something real, that is a reality. And yes, we know, but not accepting it actually. So there's a starter from me, because, and the starter from me also being that when we are with the devotees, we do take it for granted that we've got some common ground already where we can happily talk about Krishna, and people don't ask us, the meaning of Krishna. Oh, but that's your belief. No, we have to reevaluate all things. Oh, yes, but we believe in that. I don't believe in this. But it's not a matter of belief. We've accepted it's not a matter of belief. We're being told facts from the Vedas, and we're being told facts by our masters. So anyhow, when we are in the company of those who can recognize all of these, like what we consider basic things, potential, yes, it is possible. We're not there, but yes, we know it's there. We read about those who are there. We've heard from those who have come from there, telling us about that plane. And then we have to think, well, we have read and heard from those who've come from that plane. And how can we? So that's probably why it is not only probably, it is why we have some, not belief, some knowledge. We know this kind of knowledge. We know that plane exists. So how can we have that same transmission to the people of the world, as Srila Prabhupada says, conditioned souls? But we are conditioned souls in the world. So how can we at least get the starter package? You know, that you get a starter package if you're going to do some project. So this gets you started. How to get that starter package message over to, the regular person who has worked hard to study, pass their exams, go in their career, they're in the material world, and they're a little, whether it's afraid, or whether it's just, as I said, illusion, Krishna covering them because they want to be covered, to see another sphere that is worth studying and striving for, to understand. So maybe this can start you off. I can ask the questions now. Now, Peterborough just joined us, but he missed the challenge. Oh dear. So others are going to have to fill him in. And Preet was smiling because I don't want to speak. Please don't make me speak. I want to be a listener, which is also very good. I also want to be a listener. So let us start today with Keli Kadamba and Abhinavasunda. May we ask you, please, to share something in the starter package that you will distribute. You already distribute pre-cooked, wholesome meals. So you're giving them something to get started with in their vegetarian life. What is the starter package for devotional recognition and the journey? Humbly, I'm asking.
Maharaj, Dandavats, everybody. Do you want to start? Or?
No, you're the speaker.
Oh. Well, when you were speaking, Maharaj, I was thinking, okay, well, because it is true. It is the thing that we all always are facing, how to reach others that aren't maybe already thinking about the Lord or haven't been blessed with some association with Krishna consciousness, the devotees, and how to actually reach them so that they even want to hear something. And I was thinking, well, sometimes for me, what I like to do is kind of explain that we're all like, wherever we are, let's say where they're a person that's trying to become, I don't know, super successful in their field, or they're trying to, whatever it is, that there's a source of that. And I try and say that actually we can't deny the fact that whatever quality we have or whatever aspiration we have that we're going for, we can't deny the fact that we don't have all of that yet. We can have some sense that there is more to be had. That's what we're striving for. And that's generally something that people can go, yeah, I can agree with that. And that there's unlimited supply of that thing. Like there is infinity. If infinity exists and there's infinite amounts of whatever it is that they're seeking for, whether it's love, whether it's money, whether it's proficiency in their field, like it's coming from somewhere. And but note that it's in an infinite, it exists somewhere to an infinite degree, and that actually has a source. Like just as we have some of that now, where we're finite, we know that we don't understand the big picture. We have limitations. There's so many things. We're finite, and people usually can like agree to that, and then say, well, there's actually in infinity, there is a form. Like just as we have a form, then there is there's also a form of the infinite that contains all potentiality, all things ever to be had. I'm not really gathering my thoughts very well, but and by actually coming to ask, if I can have some sense of myself as a small being, as a finite being, and there's an infinite reservoir, an infinite source, maybe an infinite being, if we can just stretch to that for a second, then I exist in some relationship with that infinite naturally. And how can I come to know that? How can I become aware of what that is? And it's worth actually asking. I mean, it's hard. I find it hard just speaking without any, like, the other person actually saying, "Oh, really?"
Well,
But
I can say, I'm thinking you're mentioning actually the word reservoir. That was in my mind, and then you just mentioned it because Srila Gurumar says about the reservoir of beauty, reservoir of nectar. But
yeah.
actually, even bigger than a reservoir, however big that reservoir is, Srila Gurumar also says the ocean of nectar, and we are taking one drop at the edge. So if you want some reciprocation, and just I am listening,
Uh,
and I'm also trying to relate it to circumstances, things that we are facing by being in the public eye and being with the public, and answering questions. So I'm trying to think how much will they relate to that. It's a very this idea of being a drop of the infinite rather than mentioning like God word, which seems to be a little frightening to some. But it's a little ethereal and sounds quite Western. But we are in the Western world, even though we sort of in a little Indian bubble somehow.
I guess if people think about the infinite, like the infinite possibilities of life or reality, if there is someone standing there talking to them about something, then that thing, whatever it is they're talking about, has some place in the infinite possibilities. So then, it's whether they're open to having some other view, or open to that there being another possibility, whether they want to take it on as their entire reality. But just as a way to say, well, like if anything somebody is saying is coming into your field, into your reality, then that thing must have some place within the total reality. So then it could be worth considering that there is something else.
Yeah, and that because I mean, really, I've seen many times, like, as soon as, like, I know it's true, like, it's very ethereal and abstract to not talk about God and just say the infinite, but people have such a barrier sometimes. Like, I mean, really, like, God is like just an absolute shutdown, like, cannot even go there. But infinity is something people can't deny. And infinity means there's infinite possibilities. Like, everything has to exist in the infinite. So it has to exist, the possibility that there is a source that we come from that is greater than us. Because to say that can't exist, that's outside of infinity for me. I mean, usually, I mean, honestly, when I say that to people, they're kind of like, well, I can't actually disagree with that. Like, like it is. And then if they can just for a second have a sense that, well, I can't say for sure that can't be a possibility.
Yeah, it's like all conceptions of religion or theology, or it's none of it is denounced, but it's all seen in relativity.
What do you mean? Can you?
Well, it means like you can't, like, any philosophical point or religion or whatever can't say, well, this is the only thing.
Like, if you were an atheist, you can't say absolutely there's nothing other than the fact that God doesn't exist.
That's
Is that
right.
what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. You just can't say that.
Reminds me of a story Srila Bhakti Goswami Maharaj tells from time to time about when he was on an aeroplane and he was sitting next to some like a very scholarly person, as Krishna does send him scholarly persons to to sit beside, and then they were having some talk, and then I don't remember the whole story, but it came to something along the lines of, so you are saying you're an atheist, but can you absolutely rule out there is no possibility of a personal creator? And
Yeah.
then taking it in logic step by step, and then that man basically admitting, no, I can't rule it out. And then from that step, then say, well, just in case that is a possibility, isn't it worth your while to make that kind of research? And he was probably a research scholar or something, specialist in something that brainy people are specialist in.
Yeah, I remember him saying that. And exactly, and then if people can be open to that, they're kind of barriers are suspended for a second. And then you're like, okay, well, and if you already have, if they've already said, well, God, because often people have this thing against God because, I mean,
Religion and all the bad things that
religion
happen.
has disappointed me, and it's like, okay, but you know, there are fundamental truths in all these religions, and there's something, because people also can, if you really call them on, I break it down, they can understand like, well, yeah, the basic aspects of religion have some, you can't really deny them. They're basic. And all right, maybe the practitioners weren't able to come up to the mark, but that doesn't mean the teaching itself is irrelevant. And it also doesn't mean, like Abhinav was saying this to his sister the other day, it has to be that that revelation can come in infinity. That it has to exist, that the divine, or that our source, and if we can consider that there is a God, there has to be a flow where that can be revealed. And if we can accept that, then it's a matter of going, all right, well, it's in my best interest to find what that is, because if there's also a source of all goodness, all love, all sweetness, all beauty, all charm, all ecstasy, all the things that we want, and there's revelation coming talking about where that source is, maybe I've seen things done badly in the name of these religions or where this is coming from, but if I trace it back to the source, it's in my interest to actually look into what are they saying and see, like, how does that actually resonate with me? You know, are there things that I can put into practice in my own life? And again, like, it comes like the topic that Madhurananda had for the Zoom this week about what was it?
Have you seen God? Something like that.
Yeah. And then Guru Maharaj is saying, well, in one point that he gives the example of, it's not, oh no, it was actually Prabhupada, Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, that says, whether I've seen or haven't seen isn't of interest to you, because you need to understand, is there a God? How am I going to come to know him, and what is his nature? So if people can understand, all right, in infinity, it has to be some creator. If I can break it down step by step, then I have to start to ask the question, all right, well, what does that mean to me? Maybe it means something to everybody else, but when I hear these different aspects of revelation coming that maybe I can resonate even with one point, how does that relate to me and who God might be for me? Can I actually ask myself, well, then who is God? Like, how can I come closer? And that's the point that's kind of what I say, like, how it doesn't matter the forms that everyone else might be engaged in, or whether or not they've done good or bad, like, what's happening in my life? How am I applying it in my life? And do I actually want to be open to the possibility that I can embrace revelation in my own life and start to make some progress? Yeah.
And have a relationship, and not be dependent on somebody else's relationship or somebody else's way of approaching.
Yeah.
infinitely individual and personal.
Yeah, but then also then we can say, and there are those personalities, maybe you haven't come in contact with them, but there are personalities who are representing that revelation purely. And we actually have had the fortune of coming in connection with at least one. We have also a family, we can say, of exceptional personalities that also have taken these teachings and revelations into their lives. But we can say for sure there are people that have actually been touched by this revelation. They are putting it into practice, and they are actually demonstrating the living reality of that in their lives. And we can actually go and inquire from them. We can read the things that they've read. We can listen to them. There's so many audios, there's so many books. I mean, but it's up to us to actually make that effort. We can't just say impossible. As soon as we accept infinity, for me, you can't say impossible. And if your life isn't rocking and you're not like feeling like, all right, we're on the highest platform that there is and I've reached the highest attainment, then why not, when we're searching for all these lower things, why not actually consider, well, let me find a source of revelation that I actually resonate with and see if I can put that into practice and see if it grows. And then
I just thought about our like association. I don't mean like official associate, so like society, those who we are mixing with, as it were. I just thought of like a very suitable title for somebody's society. I mean, our society, which is the Society of Sincere Seekers, rather than no, we know everything. We're going to tell you everything. But at least we're seeking, and so we are coming to those who are seeking, and this way we are taking. Oh, speak quietly. I have to speak quietly. I'm sorry. So in this way, we're taking the association of also the previous generation of seekers. As we say, you don't start from zero with every lifetime, and so where to look. And the thing is, we gave a talk just very recently, a couple of days ago, and there were so many books on the shelves. It was I don't know, a society of seekers. I'm not sure, where the sincere part may be sincere, but there were so many books on the shelves, and you think all these books, they're all giving something. Somebody's inspired to write these books to give some positive life to people. They weren't negative books. Everything was about yoga, the the meditation, the kundalini rising up the spine, and all these things. So you can say in the Americans say in the ballpark, maybe in the ballpark. Anyway, they were all within kind of the idea. At least they weren't books about how to make $1 million without any effort and stuff like that. Well, maybe some of them were. Meditate and get $1 million. That might work better. Okay, anyway, there is so much out there, but where is the current from the sincere seekers previously? And if we can explain about, as we try to, about the Vedas, Veda Vyas, his final compilation, but still, people seem to nod their head at the time, but then when you talk just 5 minutes after we've given a talk, and also we try to have interactive talks as much as possible, not just sit and talk. And then we find, well, what actually went inside after all of this? Oh, it was very interesting. Okay. Anyway, I'm put it, by the way, Ganga Lila Devi Dasi, she's put it in the chat. The infinite is great. There you are.
And can I just say one quick little thing? Because you have seen it because on the Mott website, the talk that Guru Maharaj gave on Jayadev Goswami Prabhu's disappearance day by Guru Maharaj. I was listening to it and just writing some things down, and I just looking at, he was saying about how the Lord, he's subordinate to his devotees, and that he willingly gives up his freedom to his devotees through the price of devotion and self-surrender. And then Guru Maharaj goes on to say, you know, because he's saying, but like, what is that highest power of devotion, of dedication, and how is it to be obtained? And then he says, that is the problem. And Mahaprabhu and the Vaishnava gurus have come to our relief. And they're saying, come this way, come this side. They're very subtle points, but with whole attention, try to advance, and perhaps you will get a point. And then he says, one drop is enough. When you get one drop, you will see one drop is enough. It is infinite. A part of the infinite is infinite. So just on that point of infinity, like it just expands, like when we talk to new people, like it expands the possibilities of being touched by something that is so far greater than us and greater than we can conceive of. But everything is contained within that. And like we're saying, those the Vaishnavas, and there are saintly personalities that can connect us with one drop that can.
And Paramananda has appeared.
Has he?
Save us, to save us.
He's appeared to save us. Paranandru, oh, we're talking about saving people. How to save people who are little, not to say stubborn, but very cautious to really take seriously that we should search for reality. By the way, Sevarupadi, I just had a little trouble because normally my Zoom opens a PDF document, so I had to go a bit in a circle to open it. But this, what she's put in here is from Sermons Volume 3, and Affectionate Krishna is the title of the chapter. So, but it's quite a long little excerpt, There we are.
Actually, from what Keli Kadamba Devi was referring to from last night's Zoom.
Oh, okay.
Have you seen God?
I wasn't in last night's Zoom. I didn't see God yesterday. So, Hare Krishna. But I'm very happy that you were there and saw what took place. Hare Krishna. And Tongarasa, yes. Who's with Paramanandru? I can only see a corner.
What?
That's Krishna Priya, Maharaj.
Oh, it's Krishna Priya. Oh my goodness. Sorry, I can only see a corner. And I couldn't tell who is there. Hare Krishna. Govinda, Govinda. So welcome. And Lynn also joined us in the meantime too. Anyway, I would like to ask our Govinda. So Govinda Farm and Thailand are very well represented, by the way, because we did have the four brahmacharini, the four sevakers of the ground floor sevakers, as well as now Krishna Priya and Paramananda Prabhu there in Govinda Farm. And we've got Aparajita up in a little bit further north in Thailand, if my geography is right, and Rupanuga Prabhu down in the south of Thailand. So Thailand is well represented, and in the China Chintamani house, they've heard everything we've been talking about, been here from the beginning. So maybe a contribution from Priya Sundari. Aha, Leela is thinking I'm going to ask him. Priya Sundari Didi, would you like to make a little contribution in a practical way to some suggestion, how to help the very newcomer cross that barrier to accept that it's a sincere search that we're presenting, and not to be afraid to look outside and look out from under the cover and look outside?
Dandavad, Gurudeva, Dandavad, all devotees. Well, I think I have been having conversations with my friends about this topic, and I am quite lucky on that point because I'm also in the beginning and I'm also searching. So whatever I share with them is about my own search, and they can relate to that. So what I have been questioning is what is the what is the direction that I'm going to, right? So I have friends who are changing jobs because they want to get more money or because it doesn't suit their lives, and I'm questioning, why do we want more money? Do we want just a happy life here? Do we want all the comfort? So how long does it last? And so I'm questioning those things myself, and so sharing with them, I think that there is a bridge there, because at this age, like kind of almost 30, 20, 35, from 25, 35, I think maybe all ages, but my friends at this age, we are questioning where are we, what are we doing with our lives, where are we going? Lots of friends getting married and having children, and my friend adopted a dog, and she said, it takes so much work, and I'm like, yes, do we want, like, is this part of what we want to do? Like all these practical questions. I also have been asking, so I'm also in the search for answers, and sharing those thoughts and inspired by all the songs that we are chanting, and looking. Yesterday we were chanting the one that what is the verse 11 that you like, about like our body at the end will be just eaten by dogs and jackals, and they will have a feast. So, and not only that, but all of the things that we acquire during our life, all of our families, everything has the same end. We'll all go to dust in the end. And so what is the purpose? And so having these conversations, and it has been the point of entry, but I have some friends who are very resistant as well. They have their own spirituality, they have their own thoughts, and they sometimes want to help me, and so they show what they believe in, and it's very I feel very lucky because I have so much instruction from our own gurus. But for me, my practical, the practicality for my life is just to share my own questionings, my own line of thought, and because I'm also at that level, so I'm also in the very early ages of Krishna consciousness. So for me, this is what I have been sharing. Yeah, and I have been also in contact with a lot of people from very brainy, scientific and technological and very smart people who have a solid opinion on what they do not believe in. So I appreciate, Keli, for your perspective. Maybe that is a good entry point, but sometimes it feels like cannot even say the names, can even say Hare Krishna, cannot say anything because they can be offensive. So have to be careful with what words I'm using, because if I use words that they can be offensive, they can commit offense to those words, and it cannot, right? So I'm always trying to share from my own perspective, my own heart, like show what's going on with me, and maybe that is some inspiration for them.
And you were mentioning
and also,
oh yes, and also please carry on.
just a small thing that also I don't drink, but I'm often because of work events, I am near people who drink or who eat meat. So there's always the question, like, why don't you do that? And this is also a good entry point. Like, what are you doing not eating meat? What are you doing not alcohol, not even a little bit, right? So all of those all of those naturally get people somehow or another questioning what they are doing.
Very good. Yes, these are all entry points. So why don't you drink? Why don't you smoke? Why don't you do this? Yes. And you were mentioning like the young section, the young brainy section. But also recently I was with some older people, and good, you can say good people, and we're trying to, they say, well, what are you doing? So we're trying to explain what we're doing. But one thing which I noticed in the older section was they're thinking, oh, we do right, we lead our life in a right way, and then it will be the cooling passing away. And they even talk about their friends who passed away like this some idea that it's going to be cooling, relief, and all live happily ever after when we leave the body. And you mentioned the songbook, and in the songbook we do get so much good guidance. I mean, we get always good guidance in the songbook, including the relative position of this human body, and it's just going to go and give joy to others. And after all, we're here to give happiness to others. So the dogs and jackals will have a Maha Mahotsav, a great festival with our body. But also, and I'm not as okay, I expect that Seva Rupa could find this quite quickly, but in the songbook there is also some reference, probably by Bhaktivinoda Thakur or Srila Narottam Das Thakur, saying, and we considered that the death will be cooling to us, only to find out that it is, oh, a continuation. Oh my goodness, the pain, the fire. Instead of it being cooling, we find the fire in leaving the body for the regular persons. But there is this conception that, oh, we do right, and then everything, we just live happily ever after. But to think actually of a life afterwards and what people are doing in a realistic way, it is a little difficult to cross that barrier. But as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, we must not disturb others. We must try to give them something to go for rather than something to be fearful of. And sometimes I think that fear of God aspect has emptied the houses of God around the world, and the stress of formalities. And we must also be careful about the formalities side. If everything just becomes formality, doing this way, that way, that way, that way, and chant this, chant that, then it can become very external. So Guru Maharaj Gurudev always saying the substance is the main part. But I can put that idea out, this for those in the senior section of the world who just think, oh, yes, I'm ready to die. But yet, we can see that their activities may not be conducive to a life in heaven afterwards. Then how to cross that barrier? I mean, we all have experience. I'm speaking from experience this week of, meeting, because we're in the public and we're meeting people. When we're directly in the temple, then we are surrounded by, what did we mention earlier? Society of sincere seekers, where we're in the association of sincere seekers. But when we're in the public, we're not in the association. When we're with the devotees, but we're meeting people who we want good for them. But it is a little bit like looking at the person enjoying floating down the river and then going to go over the waterfall. An example we often used. Aparajita, you are also in Thailand. A little input from you. You've got lots of friends, I'm sure. They must ask, what are you doing? How do you make them all Krishna conscious?
Dandavat Maharaj, Dandavat everyone. To update, I'm already returned to Bangkok. I'm a Thai Chinese family, so now it's Chinese New Year. So yeah, I just returned and meet my family, and I also met my friend in Bangkok. And yeah, I have been also, it's also very lucky for me because people who close to me, everyone, they have open mind, and I always update them about my life, about Krishna consciousness. And but it's also depend on the person. I try to just adjust the words, but everyone, almost all of my friends, I can directly share with them about everything. And for me, it's more like, yeah, I just answer and I just tell about from myself. I didn't like force them. I didn't tell them to do anything. I just tell what I'm practicing, or yeah, what now what is my reality. And yeah, and it's also good to be make them more curious. And I also discover there are several of my friends, they also know about Krishna, even Thai Thai friend, because I also have quite friend. They are like in spiritual, but they different feel like Buddhism, many things, and I can have conversation with them. Yes, for family, it's also depends on. There are some of my family member I can also share.
And you're being a good example for your family. They're looking at you and think, oh, she's now vegetarian.
Yes, yeah,
Now,
yeah. Yeah, normally before, sometimes I'm like flexible, or I was eating egg, but now I also like, it's really like motivate me to just be on the track. And people to, yeah, people is also like can see like and yeah. Yes, and now me and Muktinath Prabhu also planning to make events. We planning to have the curtain and have screening documentary of Srila Prabhupada Hare Krishna movement in Bangkok. And yeah, yesterday I just talked with one place in Bangkok, and they also welcome us. So I'm excited and also very happy to keep practice every day. For me, this is also like one of my challenge, because normally I'm more like practical. I like to do things, and to practice is very good for me to yeah, good practice for me.
this is also very practical, Aparajita.
Yes,
Beautiful. Many thanks for sharing.
thank you.
Keep on going and do good for your family. And everyone's got like some special affection for their family or for those who they went to school with, grew up with. And we always want the best for others. So there in particular, we try, but there in particular, we can be more disappointed, because if it's a general person and they don't really catch anything, you kind of think, okay. But if it's somebody who's dear to us, we do want the best for them, and we don't, we're sad if it slips away from in front of them. By the way, in the chat box, and Sevarupa Devi Dasi, well done. It is in Avatar Asara, that expression that, where's the translation? Absorbed in the cycle of birth and death, having fallen by the wayside without any hope for achieving their company. That's the Lord. The Lord of death will come and make you suffer the results of your activities. What? Where's the cooling part? Oh, it's further up.
Maharaj. Yeah, there's two that I found in the. So the one song is Shri Shri Gaura Nityananda Dai,
Yeah,
and the
this
first
is
one is Avatarasana.
yeah, Avatara. This is the one
So
I was
that's the one.
referring to, where we are
Okay.
thinking that there's going to be cooling. Yes, declaring. So admitting defeat, wasted and worn out, I await the snake of death. So this is not the 25 to 30 group. This is the 95 to 105 group. Anyway, something like that is addressing a different department, because we hope the 25 to 30 group isn't feeling wasted and worn out, but here it'll happen. Here we are, admitting defeat, wasted and worn out, I await the snake of death, declaring it to be cool and soothing. I have embraced the fire of material life, only to suffer intense misery as if struck by lightning. This idea, there seems to be this idea that, oh, death will be cooling. That's why people commit suicide. They jump off cliffs, jump off bridges into shark-infested water. They commit suicide thinking it's going to be cooling to give relief, and then only to find, oh dear, life goes on. And that's not a matter of belief. Oh, I don't believe in life after death. Okay, but it's not a matter of belief. But the emphasis must be on affection, love, beauty, and charm, and not this emphasis of, suffering forever in some hellish place. And if you do this, you'll get some relief for however many thousand years or something relief. But another aspect of life, we want to get relief forever from that land. Yes, Paramanandru has been listening to us all. And Paramanandru is always with the public, and he's always spreading the holy name. And he's under the shelter of Gurudev and Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada, the umbrella. And so, Paramanandru, we are anxiously awaiting how you're going to give us the magic formula to make everyone at least interested in Krishna consciousness.
Can I tell a story, Maharaj?
Please, we love stories.
It's a long story, but I will try to be short. It's about how Narada Muni once went to Lord Narayan. He had the same question: how to make everybody Krishna conscious.
He did.
Said, yes, he did.
Okay.
I mean, he can go freely. Not a problem for him, but he's very concerned about all those who are suffering. So he's having a discussion, saying, why is it so difficult? Why are you making it so difficult? You want them to come to you? Yes, Lord Narayan said. Then just wish and they will come. And well, he said, it's not that easy, Narada. And Narada said, long story short, just give me a blessing that I can just go there. And first person I will approach, I will tell him that Lord Narayan giving you a special blessing. You can just come with me straight to Vaikuntha. Nothing needs to be done. I'm here, I'm taking you to Vaikuntha. Narayan said, okay, give it a shot, Narada Muni. So he went down. While he's going down to the material world, he's thinking, well, just to be on the safe side, maybe I just go to the Brahmin family. I mean, how they can refuse? They're Brahmin. So he went to a Brahmin family, he found a young man, knocks on the door, the young man opens the door, introduces himself. He can recognize Narada Muni, after all, saying that, you know what, today is your lucky day. Lord Narayan is giving the blessing. You can come with me straight to Vaikuntha. You just need to agree. That's it. There's nothing else necessary, no qualification whatsoever. And the man said, wonderful. Yes, I'm Narada Muni, I'm with you. I totally want to go to Vaikuntha. But can you just wait a little bit? Oh, gosh. Because I did promise to my parents to marry. You know the Vedas. So I have to be responsible in front of my parents. So if I promise them to marry, I have to marry. And then as soon as I marry, the next day I go to Vaikuntha. Is that okay? Now the Muni thought, well, it's a small small time to wait. Said, yes, I will come the next day after remarriage. Coming after the marriage, man is saying, yes, Narada Muni, I'm almost ready, but you know what, now I have the wife. And the wife means I have to give her a child. As soon as I give her a child, I'm free to go. Again, yes, I can wait. Next time coming. Anyhow, it's a long story. Till one day he knocks on the door, wife opens the door and says, who are you? Why are you here? Narada Muni said, well, I'm here for your husband. He promised me to come with me to Vaikuntha. And the wife starts crying. He said, oh, my husband is dead. He's been delaying for many different reasons. So anyhow, it's a long story. But really, when we were young brahmacharis, just like Prithu Prabhu there, I just saw him. He's still very young brahmachari. We were told, you take the books to people, you take the holy name to people, and they will become devotees. Just offer it to them. How can they refuse? And we tried and we tried and we tried. I remember first maybe a few weeks we tried very hard. No one was convinced by us. Till slowly we realized that really it's not up to us. And the secret is in the verse, Brahmana Brahmitekon Bhagyavan Jiv. So if someone is ready, someone have enough bhagya, enough sukriti accumulated, Krishna will certainly guide that person. So we're not to be attached to that kind of result when reaching out and trying to represent Krishna consciousness, trying to give holy name and talk about better life in general to people. We're doing our part, but we're not to get attached to the result. The result is up to the Lord. But we will do our part and we will make ourselves available for that service. Like recently we've been reading Affectionate Guidance in the morning, as of yesterday actually.
Evening.
As the evening? Never mind. And then Govinda Maharaj said that we have to make ourselves under the influence, not Maya, but Yoga Maya. We have to make ourselves available for that. And then we can be used as instruments. And we will give best we have. We can use all of our talents, all of our sincerity, all of our hankering for that. And then results will be according to the Lord's will. I think that's the best approach to that kind of situation. And as you, Maharaj, points out, you pointed out many times that the best way to talk to people is to share with them what inspires you, not to make it up, not to pretend. Any person, any living human being can feel when someone is pretending or telling lies, at least to some extent. They will feel that. So just tell them what inspires you and see if they get inspired. And if they don't get inspired immediately, it may happen the next day, it may happen next year, it may happen next life. Who cares? You did your part sincerely, with love and affection, with some compassion in your heart for that person you've been talking to. And if they're taking Krishna consciousness immediately, then they have that secreted and the Lord sent them to you and you've been used properly in that case. And if not, still you've been used properly and it will happen at some point later. I guess that is a good approach. And then remembering Mahaprabhu, how he defines the topmost devotee. That's probably another key to that. Become a pure devotee of the Lord. And then Yan Hara Darshana Mukhya, I say Krishna now. Then everyone who will see you or be in a close proximity to you will naturally remember Krishna and the chant names of Krishna. That's Mahaprabhu's promise. So that's another key. Become a pure devotee, isn't what you, Maharaj, been always telling us? Then everything becomes very easy. And why is that? Because Krishna is always fully present in the heart of the pure devotee. And Krishna is all attractive. We shouldn't forget that part. He is all attractive. We are not all attractive. We're quite the opposite. But if we are in his proximity, in his service and connection with him, and he is residing in our heart, then naturally it becomes all attractive.
I'm always trying to bring them to understand the pure devotees. I mean, really, in the pure devotee sense, Gurudev, Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada. And this, we've got such a richness in their association through their direct association in this world moments ago, and their still presence in this world right to the day, as Gurudev always pointing out. But
Yeah,
what I was, sorry, Prabhu, please
we
continue.
know at least one.
Well, good, please let me know where he is. Anyway, one thing I was thinking when you were saying these things about the Bhagavanaji, even, we're meeting people, we should just give them a book and say something to them. I also think whoever comes in front of us, I mean, whoever we come in contact with in whatever way, we should think Krishna has allowed that. And we do have some key. We know where the keys are, if you like. We know the direction in which to go. So it's almost like everybody who we do meet, we want to give them some opportunity. And maybe also you slightly touched on it, that we don't know about the result. And we know ourselves when we're with devotees and we talk about how we came to Krishna consciousness. Everyone's got a different story. And very often it begins with unknowingly meeting a devotee or being told something, and then gradually this matured in their mind, came back in their mind, and at a certain time then the barrier was crossed and they're coming to search. So we don't know the result is another thing. So whether somebody seems stubborn or not, sometimes we do have to think, well, Krishna's put them in front of me. And so we should do our duty, and not just as duty, but this is their opportunity. If we don't give them some clue in the right direction, then what was the value of that association? Maybe just a minute or a few minutes, but we need to utilize that properly. And this is why we always want to tell the truth to other people, but it has to be palatable truth. But this way, some truths we think are so palatable. Eternal joy sounds like pretty good to most people, but not to everybody. They just can't believe it. But at least we can let them know something. Yes, Ram Sundar Prabhu, Jai Gauranga Prabhu, Leela Moy Prabhu, sitting there as very good students in the ashram of the Lord there. Jai. And by the way, Narayani Nadi Devi Dasi, the clocks changed in America many months ago. Narayani, good to see you. I know you're a hidden devotee, but I know you're a devotee. We know Narayani since she was a teenager, and she's a good lady. By the way, there are devotees we know from, and not Narayani, I'm referring to her just now, but we knew devotees as children who now are grandparents. And this is the speed of time going on. Hare Krishna. I don't know where these icons come from, but Ganga Leela's got an icon which is, I think, expressing, oh, Mamma Mia in Italian. Okay, dear devotees. So Narayana, you missed it all this week, but we do hope you'll join us a little earlier. And if you join us a little earlier in the future back to basics, I will humbly ask you, share something, because you're a sharer of life experience too. And everyone has their own life, and we're all hanging on here in Krishna consciousness, but we don't want to just hang on, we want to go on positively. One thing is to hang on, one is to march on. So we want to be in the marching brigade, doing the right thing, because everyone's using energy, and we see energy in the regular world just being wasted by capable people. As Priya Sundari said, there are so many bright, energetic, positive people in the world. It's just that the energy needs to be redirected, and what a wonderful opportunity such persons have to use their brightness and their energy to go in the direction of Krishna. All right, and Dana, always happy to have you with us. And all of you who are seeing this in the recorded version, who've made it through to this, to the end. It's not the end, it's to be continued. And last week, I should have said this at the beginning, but last week, Leela Moy, the Prabhu, at the very end said, oh, that was our 500th edition of Back to Basics. So we should have started this one saying, this is the 501st edition of Back to Basics. But anyway, we're here, and we really do want to keep our basics strong, and then it is up to the Lord and what fortune we may or may not have, but whatever degree of that particle, molecule within that drop of that land of nectar, may it come into our heart and keep on growing. And Mahaprabhu is the gardener, he growing that tree of devotional service. And we pray to be connected in that tree as a little twig or a leaf somewhere along the way. Okay, Preetu Prabhu, was I a good boy? I didn't ask you anything. But I won't always be a good boy, so always have something in your pocket. All right, dear devotees, appreciating your association, the Sincere Seekers Society. Jai Shila Gurudev, Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai, Jai Shila Guru Maharaj, Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Rokko Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai, and Jai Shila Prabhupada Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai, and Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. Now Shri Rupa Nuga Guru Vaga Ki Jai, and Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Hari Nama Sankirtana Ki Jai, and all the assembled devotees Ki Jai, worldwide devotees Ki Jai, and all the Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Acharya Vrinda Ki Jai, and Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bo, Vanchakalpatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubi, Evacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo, Namo Namo.
Jai Shri Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj Ki Jai.
Govinda, Govinda, Ganga Leela descending her heart to you all. Her hearts, maybe, but heart to you all. Krishna Priya, all devotees, one by one, Asha Purna, Govinda, Govinda, back in the United States, and she's going to go to Salt Lake City soon to be with the devotees as much as possible. So well done. Govinda, Govinda, you arrived home safely. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo, Namo Namo. Ami Ashchi. Krishna Krishna.